am thrilled to welcome all of you to CGI U 2015. We are so excited to be back at the University of Miami. All sorts of sounds are very welcome. Applaud, shout, whistle, I don't even know what that was, but interactive is what we love. Awesome. 5 years ago, we were here for our third annual CGI U. And we are just so grateful that President Shalala, the University of Miami trustees, faculty, and most of all the students have welcomed us so warmly back. To the students in particular, I apologize for invading your campus, stealing parking slots, kind of long lines to get into places because of the Secret Service. And I'm grateful for all of your forbearance. I also hear that your spring break starts tomorrow, so that clearly deserves a round of applause. And we're just so honored that you would choose to spend part of your spring break here with us. And we're so excited that, as you saw on the slide earlier, we have more than 1,100 students from more than 80 countries. More than 200 universities are represented here. We do have more than 200 Floridians, but we also have people from every state in the country, including from places like New York, where I'm from, where it's really cold right now. So I know particularly those of us that have fled the snow are just so excited to be here this weekend. When my father started CGI now 10 years ago, he started it with a very particular purpose, helping people turn their ideas for solution into real action plans. He's talked a lot about the origins of CGI, and I'm sure he'll mention some of this later, that he just was tired, beleaguered even, from hearing people talk about only the challenges or only their ideas for how to solve so many of the significant problems we face today in the world, and that there was too little airspace, conversation, and emphasis on how we were going to solve those problems and what each one of us was uniquely qualified to do to solve those challenges together. And that was the genesis for CGI, and ultimately also the genesis for CGI U. And as excited as we are that more than 6,500 students through this year, so after this year, more than 7,500 students have participated in CGI U. We're even more excited that after this weekend, more than 5,000 commitments to action will have been made. Some of those you saw already in the slides above. And that some of those commitment makers you may have heard of before. People like Kennedy Odede, who started the Kibera School for Girls in Kenya, who's now educating hundreds and hundreds of girls to change the landscape of his community and ultimately the future of his country. Or Ashifi Gogo, who started Sproxel, which has now empowered literally hundreds of thousands of people in the developing world to verify whether or not a pharmaceutical product is real and worth their purchase, or is fraudulent and not. That's the type of community that you're joining, and I can't wait to stand on this stage at CGI U's in the future to share your stories, because we already know there are such exciting commitments being made here today. We have 2 students from Los Angeles, one from Loyola Marymount, one from USC, traditionally rival institutions. As I understand it, I went to school a little further north at Stanford, where Berkeley was our big rival. But USC and Loyola Marymount, 2 students coming together to work on helping victims of domestic violence in Los Angeles. Students from Nevada and Texas working together to strengthen the public health system in the Philippines. We have students working in Jaipur, India, on kind of low-cost ways to help people diagnose their own eyesight needs so that they don't have to pay to go to an optometrist or an eye doctor and can access eyewear. Students from West Philadelphia who are working on a program to help families understand how really they can have low cost but still really nutritious and healthy meals for themselves and their families. This is only part of the work that you all are doing, and we're so excited that all of us are here together. And we hope that you'll take advantage of every opportunity We hope you'll go to the skills building sessions. We hope you'll come to all of the plenaries, not just the ones where my dad will be on stage. We hope that you'll ask lots of questions of the panelists, of the mentors, of the advisors, because we really want this to be as rich an experience for all of you as possible. And what we ask in exchange is not only for you to make and keep your commitments, but also please give us feedback. What can we do better to help support you after this weekend in your commitment work? What can we do better for future CGI U students, those who will come after you? Please give us your honest, unvarnished feedback. And we also hope that you will stay connected through CGI U Connect so that you can continue to learn with one another, from one another, and hopefully support each other as your work continues. So again, thank you all for being with us. We're so excited for all of the work that you already have done, all of the work that you will do, and for this CGI U weekend. And we hope that you'll join us on Sunday, particularly those of us that need a little more sunshine. The New York crowd over there, please give me a thank you, for the Day of Action with the Miami's Children Initiative. We're really excited to be able to leave something positive behind here in Miami. It's not just the university that has welcomed us so warmly, but the entire community. And we think it's important that when we have been so welcomed, when there has been such generous hospitality, that we give something back. So thank you all for joining us this Sunday as well. Oh, thank you. So if the Code-a-thon earlier that I was honored to help judge is any indication, this will clearly be a dynamic and exciting CGI U. And I just want to give a shout out to all the Code-a-thon participants who over a couple of clearly frantic days put together extraordinary projects. So I hope that those of you who weren't there, oh yeah, you can give yourselves a round of applause. So I hope that those of you that weren't there at the Code-a-thon earlier will ask about the commitments that were made, how some of them have been gamified or appified, I don't even know if that's a word, appified, and how similar kind of problem solving and thinking may be able to advance your own commitments. So it's no accident that this is our second CGI U at the University of Miami, and not just because it's a pretty fantastic place to be when it's very cold up north, and because there's clearly such a generosity of spirit and feeling here. Through the Butler Center for Volunteer Service and Leadership Development, and I know many of you, judged by the fists that were just waved and the applause that we heard, are associated with the Butler Center. The University of Miami has long been a leadership in social entrepreneurship, in service, and in real problem solving for sustainable development. And so we're thrilled to be back at the University of Miami, given it's the home of the Butler Center. We're also thrilled to be here because you have a pretty fantastic leader in Donna Shalala. And she is an extraordinary steward of all of the work that has made the University of Miami a leader in not only sustainable development and social entrepreneurship through the Butler Center, but really one of the world's leading research institutions. And obviously also a pretty great place to go to school, as evidenced by all of the flags that we see around us. As someone who loves sports and shares that with President Shalala, I think the University of Miami clearly is a winner on so many fronts. And so the impact that she's had here will be felt long after, for a very long time, after she leaves her position here. And it has been such a privilege and so much fun over the last few months for me to talk to Donna about the Clinton Foundation, about the work that we do, and our shared vision for its continued impact into the future as we think within the Clinton Foundation, including with CGI U, how we continue to solve our own how challenges. And I'm thrilled that she'll be joining the Clinton Foundation to help continue to champion that work into the future. And you'll hear more about that in a little bit. But truly a woman without whom none of us would be here, who clearly has a strong sense of solidarity with her students. I think that after the warm weather, she received the largest and loudest round of applause. Please join me in welcoming our host for this weekend, President Donna Shalala.
Thank you, Dr. Clinton. Chelsea, good evening, everyone. I want to give a very special Miami Hurricanes welcome to all of you. The University of Miami is honored to once again host the greatest gathering of future global leaders in the world, the Clinton Global Initiative University. The last time CGI was on campus 5 years ago, Haiti had just suffered a catastrophic earthquake. It was amazing to see how that gathering planted the seeds of hundreds of commitments to action that blossomed, touching thousands of lives. And it really all starts with the desire to make a difference. Next comes the idea, I can do this. Then comes the aha moment, I will do this. You've all had it, and that's why you're here. You're here to give flight to the possible and perhaps even to the impossible. What you set in motion here will soar if you not only work hard, but if you work hard together. Learn from each other, help one another, listen to each other, be open to uncertainty, and be bold. You are the guardians of the galaxy. Create your own motivational mixtape, turn up the volume to the power of yes, be guided by the rhythm of compassion, learn to follow the beat of your inner convictions. But lead with humility, and above all, act with love for this beautiful planet we all call home. Tonight you have the best model in the world right here, William Jefferson Clinton, the 42nd President of the United States. He is not only a leader of leaders, he's created a roadmap for you to follow through the Clinton Foundation. The foundation is part of his enduring legacy to the nation and to our world. Like you, he started with a desire to make a difference. He's motivated and inspired many, many others to work with him. United, our power to do good is unstoppable. So please welcome my friend, the supreme guardian of the galaxy, President Bill Clinton.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you. Well, President Shalala, nobody ever called me that before. I feel like I all of a sudden have some new status. First, let me thank all of you for coming and welcome you. Second, I'd like to thank our sponsors who made the meeting possible, the John and James Knight Foundation, Laureate International Universities, the Peter Peterson Foundation, Andy Nahas and the Prospect Fund, and the Ramsey Social Justice Foundation, and all the other people who have helped us. I want to thank all the, give them a hand. That's good. They made it possible for it to be here. I want to thank all of our University Network members who've contributed money so that we can actually fund some of these great projects that will be part of your commitment process. I want to thank the CGI team, Bob Harrison, Ed Hughes, Bill Wetzel, and the 60 or 70 other people who have had the enormous burden of having to leave the snows of New York to come to Miami to be with you for the next 2 days. Now, before President Shalala excuses herself, I want to say a few words about her and her tenure here. We have been friends a long time. She and Hillary spent 15 years together on the board of the Children's Defense Fund. And before that, when Hillary was just out of law school and working for the Children's Defense Fund, she first met Donna Shalala. I have seen her be a brilliant president of Hunter College in New York, of the University of Wisconsin, and I've watched these unbelievable 14-plus years in Miami. But my main exposure was when she became the longest-serving Secretary of Health and Human Services in American history, and I believe the finest, for all 8 years when I was president. And just so you don't think that this is some sort of a political deal, President George W. Bush gave her the Presidential Medal of Freedom, our nation's finest, highest civilian award. And for those of you who care truly about service, she was one of our nation's first Peace Corps volunteers. She was in Iran from 1962 to 1964. Her mother was also a friend of mine. She just passed away at 103, so Donna's just getting warmed up. Donna arranged for her to introduce me once when she was in the latter half of her ninth decade. She was 86 or 87, I think, and she was still practicing law, and she said she was glad to introduce the president, but I was cutting into her billable hours. She is a remarkable woman from a remarkable family, and in a few months she will complete her tenure as the president of the University of Miami. So I want all of you to know that I intend to recommend to our board of directors, with the full support of Hillary and Chelsea, that she be named the president and chief executive officer of the Clinton Foundation after she completes her term here. I don't know in my long life that I ever worked with anybody that had quite the combination of policy knowledge and concern, political skills, a personal touch with people, and a sense of innate fairness that inspires confidence across political, regional, economic, and psychological lines. She's a remarkable person. And you can talk to anybody who's been around here and seen what she's done. I feel so blessed. And I have communicated this to our entire board. They get the final say, but I think they'll vote for her. I think that anybody who had the chance to do it would vote for her. I hope you don't run for office. Stay with us. So let's give her a big hand and let's get the show on the road. Thank you.